Alrighty. G'day everyone. Thank you for jumping on this webinar that I'm having with Ben Saucy from Brisbane. Welcome, Ben. Appreciate you giving up your Tuesday night to have a chat with me. How are you?
No problems, mate. Thank you.
Beautiful. Mate, obviously coming over to see you in only a week and a bit anyway. I think I get to Brisbane on the 31st, catching up with a bunch of students and yourself. So looking forward to it. And I believe I'm going to be able to catch the end of one of your latest flip.
You will, mate. Yes, I think we'll be about a week out from the end when you're there. So that should be pretty good.
Beautiful. All right, absolute legend. All right, mate. What we're going to do today is I've got a bit of a slideshow, a bit of a presentation that I'm going to walk you through on your journey to date. Just jog my memory. When did you join the program? How long have you been doing this for now? Well, I know it was obviously last year, 2024.
Yeah, mate, I believe I joined around February last year. Took some time to work through the course, and then I think we were in our first flip in April.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Awesome. Well, we'll go through that in a minute. I'm just going to quickly read through a disclaimer and then jump into the presentation. Mate, can you just let me know whether or not you can see my screen in full?
I can see it. I just can't. Yep, now it's in full. Perfect.
Cool. All right, mate. I'm just going to quickly read through the disclaimer for anyone that's listening. So the information provided on this site, including all statements, opinions, and documents, is for general information purposes only. It does not constitute financial advice and does not consider your personal objectives, financial situation, or specific needs. Redmayne, including its directors, related entities, agents, coaches, employees, and representatives, are not licensed to provide financial advice, including self-managed superannuation funds. You should seek independent financial, legal, and taxation advice before making any investment decisions. And guys, I just want to say, obviously, all investment has risks, and property flipping is no different. We've just got to make sure we're doing, all of our market research and our due diligence. So now that we've got that out of the way, mate, Ben, thanks again, mate. Just going to dive straight in, and
Right.
I just want you to tell us who Ben is. And so obviously the bit here, obviously started the program in 2024. You said you started in February, you got your first deal in April. You obviously, were kind of new to the whole property thing, weren't exactly feeling ready at the time, but you sort of jumped in and it sort of paid off. You were working full time. I know you were working for, where were you working? Like, I know it was with.
Yeah, mate. So I was working with my brother-in-law at the time, and then
Yeah,
prior to that, I was with YMCA Brisbane
I thought
for
it was.
about 12 years. Yeah, prior to that, and we'd had a couple of properties, over the years. They were purchase and holds. Once the
Yep,
people had come out of them, we'd repainted them, laid new flooring and things like that.
yep.
And yeah, I guess when I joined the program, the idea was to just get that confidence to jump in, and I guess try and turn them over quicker than sort of we had previously.
Yeah, okay, awesome. So just talk to me. So you worked at YMCA, like you did that for 12 years. Well, that was like obviously like a more of like a white collar job, and you sort of got
It,
out of that.
yeah, mate, it was a corporate role. So it was in before and after school care in the head office team. So we had about 40 outside school hours sites around the Queensland region. So it was just, yeah, overseeing those, overseeing compliance, overseeing people. And look,
Yep.
it certainly wasn't property, put it that way.
Yeah, okay, sweet. All right, and then what you said you worked with your brother-in-law for a couple of years. What was that about? What made you leave YMCA and then go work with him? What was sort of the background there?
Yeah. Yeah, mate. So that was in an ops role. I was just wanting a change.
Yep,
And he sort of had a role that, we thought would be for about a year. I ended up staying with him for 2 years. And then I was, just chatting to him about, it was probably time to head out. And I just wasn't sure what into. And yeah, and then sort of your course popped up. I actually think I landed on the Facebook page first
yep.
before that. And I started reading about it and, hearing other people were in it and things like that. So I think, yeah, sort of went
Yeah,
in
okay.
and yeah, one thing led kind of from there.
Yeah, cool. So why property for you? Like obviously, you'd done a few buy and hold sort of thing, but you weren't obviously renovating and flipping. Like why property and why renovating and flipping?
It just worked well for us in the past. Like it had always sort of paid off. Like we bought our first house at I don't know, I think we were 20 or 21. Like, we worked hard for it. And it just paid off over time. I think we had probably two or three properties between, when we were 21 and sort of, me coming into the course. And it had just always worked. Like they'd grown, we sort of had good experience with tenants, it hadn't been like the horror stories out there. And then, yeah, I think it was our last one when the tenants were out. We sort of replaced the flooring, we painted it, and just sort of got a bit of that taste for it that you can relay flooring, you can paint it, you can clean it up, and now it's
Yep.
worth more. And you just sort of in your brain you go, this actually, increased pretty quickly for not a whole lot of work or a lot of time. And then one thing leads to the other, and you start sort of looking at it and you go, oh, people actually purchase properties, really low. And,
Yep.
yeah. And then here we are kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So essentially, your experience was that you'd had about three properties, you'd held them long term, and you'd sort of done a little bit of like cosmetic stuff, and realised that you could add value, and then the renovating and flipping was more like, okay, well, why not do it? Why not actually buy properties with the intention to renovate and flip quickly and get profits that way?
That's
So
it, mate. Yeah.
cool. So you're working for your brother-in-law, you got your first flip, and then you pretty much quit your job straight away, didn't you?
Yeah, I took a bit of leave from him. It kind of worked out well, the timing. Like I was looking a little bit before that, and it kind of just worked out well. I mean, he was great. He sort of said, "Yep, that's fine. You've helped us out." So it just kind of worked out well. And I think if I was anywhere else, might not have that confidence to sort of leave work. But yeah, he was great, and he just said, "Yeah, hit it, try it, see if it works," kind of thing. And yeah, I learnt pretty early on that yeah, it was worth it.
Yeah, cool. I remember when we had the Brisbane meetup last year. I think you had just finished your first one then, or were just going to market,
Yep.
and you did a bit of work yourself on that one, didn't you?
I did a little bit, mate. Yeah, I did a bit, and I think it was just timing with coming out of my current role that I was working in. I think it was just like the perfect timing to go, I'll just do a little bit of sort of gardening and sort of tip runs and picking up, equipment and things like that. So it was
Yep.
just that kind of work.
Yep.
And look, even sort of now, and I'm sure we'll touch more later, but I just find that things run well when I'm there. Not
Yep.
always needing to be working on the tools. Like I can be picking things up, dropping things off, and that kind of thing. But I just feel like things just run well kind of when I'm there.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Alrighty. And look, just talk to me about, was there any sort of fear or anything like that from your perspective? Was there, like, obviously going, leaving essentially, like a 9 to 5 with your brother-in-law and that sort of stuff, and then actually going out and working for yourself? Was there any fear? Like, what about if I don't get the profit I want? What about if I stuff up the renovation? Was there any of that sort of stuff before you
Heaps.
landed your first deal?
Heaps, mate. Yeah, and look, to be fair, it was the course I think that gave me the confidence for it because we were on holidays. I remember it was around Christmas. I think we went away just after Christmas, and I was talking to my wife about it then, and I was like, we're looking at properties, going, oh, would this one work? Would this one work? And we didn't have our spreadsheets in place and things like that. But even I think after I'd gone through the course and completed it, I felt like I knew a lot more. But you still are like, wow, this is just us now. Like, there's no income coming in. This is just us. This needs to work.
Yep.
But look, we had a really good agent. So, I sort of kept talking to her. She was quite good in that area. So, she sort of kept saying, look, here's the comparables, here's what's sold. There's no reason why we shouldn't get, this particular end price. And, my wife's an accountant too. So, I mean, that really helps from, as far as what we can put in, versus what comes out kind of thing. But yeah, in short, to answer that question, yes, there was heaps, but it was just, I don't know, it was kind of in my head like I need this to work. I don't see
Yep.
why it shouldn't. We've surrounded ourselves with the right people. The agent
Yep.
was a huge help. And yeah, other than it running a little bit over time, I think we were 4 months in that first one.
Yep.
I think it was just an inexperienced thing for us. Coordinating it, we were sort of okay. We sort of seemed to get trades in the right order, but there were certainly times there where I didn't have trades at the property where,
Yep.
now being in flip four, it's like if you don't have a trade there and I'm there, you look around, you go, well, this is a waste of time. Like, why have I not got
Yep.
people here? Kind of thing. Like, where have I gone wrong with the planning?
For sure, for sure. Absolutely. And I like what you said about, like you had to make it work, because I remember that being the case when I started it was the same thing. It was like, I was in a FIFO job, and I did two flips before I went full time. But it was like, and I remember even when I got coaching initially, it was like I had to make it work because I didn't like the position where I was, what I was doing. So it had to work. Was that kind of the situation with you? Like, obviously, what made you leave the YMCA? What made you then go work for your brother? What was there a grand plan that you were going to do something for yourself, whether it was property or whether it was business? Like, what was the plan? Like,
Honestly, there wasn't a plan. I've been at the Y for so long, and I loved it. The people, there were incredible. We did some awesome work, but it just hits that kind of point where you go, I'm at a point, I need a change. I was driving sort of north side of Brisbane, and I don't know anyone sort of, in southeast Queensland, it's about an hour and a half, 2 hour drive. It's not exactly quick. You spend a lot of time, and I just thought it's time for a change. His role came up. They needed someone sort of to work ops with them for a while. So I thought, look, this will be great.
yep,
There certainly wasn't an intent, no, to work for myself really until after we sold that last property. It was kind of like, this property thing's okay. Like, the agent said, oh, your property's currently worth this, but if you're happy to throw a coat of paint on and just lay some floor in the kitchen, it'll be worth this. And I sort of went, oh, it's that whole thing in your brain going, oh, that actually, yeah, that's a good sort of, yeah, that sort of works well for us. And then probably after that, so it was probably only about 4 months before it of me starting to look and then looking online, finding the course, and then yeah. So, but no, it certainly wasn't part of the grand plan. It was always to try and climb, in the corporate world and see how high, how high you could get, how many hours you could work, kind of thing. So,
are,
yeah.
are you missing the corporate world?
I am not, mate. I must admit there are times where I do miss the people I used to work with because they're an awesome, awesome people to work with. But other than that, no, I certainly don't miss the corporate world. I said before, you do work hard in this. There's, I certainly can't sit here and say it's a walk in the park and I'm at home watching TV while my trades are working. That is certainly not the case. But about 3 weeks ago, we had the flu just rip through our house here. We've got a four-week old child as well. She caught it. But it was just being able to be like, well, I don't need to be there. So I can come home. I can be at home. I was home for the week. Then I caught it, which was, great. So I was home for, extra time. But it's just that whole thing of I don't have to be there. My
Yeah,
other young
flexibility.
yeah, he's in grade one, and it's like I can go and watch him do cross country, I can watch him do swimming, and I still am putting the hours in. I'm pretty hard on myself as well. Like, if I'm like, well, I'm leaving work at 2, I'll generally start earlier. I'll be up doing admin work or something kind of thing. But it just has that, where you can at least say, well, the important things, I can
Yep.
come to school for that, or I can come for this, where, previously it was a little bit harder.
Yeah. So essentially, you're running your own show instead of running around for somebody else. Essentially.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, exactly
Yeah,
that.
cool, mate. Before we move on to flip one, we're going to obviously go through your four deals and have a look at some before and afters and have a look at the numbers. But before we do, so what you obviously did the coursework. What was your first action steps after completing the coursework and then obviously landing your first deal? Do you remember? Was that going back a little bit? It's been a
That is
year.
going back a bit, but I do remember as I said, I was working with my brother-in-law at the time. We're having a bit of chat about it, and I said, we got to go around. I got to drop these postcards in people's, mailboxes and try. And so he said, great, I'll come. So the both of us went around Logan in Brisbane, dropping these, things to people, and yeah, had a couple of good chats with people around. That was probably the first thing that I did was sort of jump out. I hadn't done anything like that before. I didn't really know that was a thing. So that was probably one of the first things we did, and probably the farming area, as you talk about in the course, was probably just prior to that.
Yep.
I knew it was going to be Logan because all of our properties before were there. It's a comfort area for us. It's always worked really well. So it was probably just honing in on which part of Logan because it's quite
Yep.
like large for people who are across it. It's so yeah, it was just sort of working out which area we sort of wanted to work in. And then probably the open homes was the other bit is really just actively, I think that's probably something I took away from the course as well, is you don't always need to buy the on-market homes, but being out there, meeting agents, chatting to people, actually worked really well for us. So they're probably the three. Yeah, probably the
Yeah.
three.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, just as we're about to dive into your flip one, anyone that's listening, if you've got any questions, guys, please drop them into the chat. I will do a little bit of Q&A at the end of the presentation. So I'm not sure if I'll get through all the questions, but I'll try and get through some of the questions. And also, I'm going to get one of my team just to drop in our link in the chat now. So if anyone, I'm obviously getting people all the time, obviously asking about discovery calls with the team. So I can see Josh has just dropped the link in there. So if you are wanting to speak to anyone in the team, please, book a time. But let's just jump into this first flip, mate. So this was obviously in Logan. Talk to me about how you secured this deal. So these are the before and after photos. So how do we secure this one? I remember this one. If I remember correctly, you bought it off an agent, and the agent didn't tell you to start, but he actually owned the property with his mum or something like that.
He did, mate. It was in a trust with his mum. Yeah. So, mate, it was a funny thing actually, because I literally the picture on the left-hand side of the screen was what I saw pop up. It was a small ad it was an on market. So I think it was on realestate.com. It was one of those ones that it was that small, you almost scroll past it. And I was sort of, scrolling quickly and I was like, oh, that looks like a crappy old house, and clicked on it. I reached out to him. He called me. He's like, look, mate, it's under contract. I'll keep your number. It's like, one of those. Like, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
A week later, he called me. He said, look, looks like it's going to fall over. Are you keen? One thing led to the other. Went out, had a bit of a look at it. Yeah, he didn't tell me it was his to start with. I knew he had sort of a vested interest in the property, because he really knew the property well. So I was thinking, you're either a really good agent, or you might, I sort of thought maybe he knew the owner or something, something along those lines, because it had a lot of character to it. Like, it had little hidden cupboards. Like, it was just off the top of my head, I think it was about 1950s build. I think, I mean, it was a while ago now, but I think it was about that. So it had like a lot of character to it. And mate, one thing led to the other. We gave a pretty low offer of, I think it was around 400 or something, just over 400 at the time.
Yep.
I did do a cash offer, because we already sort of had our finance and partners and everything sorted. So it was quite a low cost as well, compared to some other houses in the area. So we sort of thought, look, how do we go wrong with it? We had a structural inspection on it and a pest inspection as well. Everything was good other than sort of what you can see, like the problems you could see were the problems that were there, kind of thing. There was no real hidden ones. But to be fair, we picked it up that cheap, but I was still halfway through working on it, going, when are we going to find the problem? Like, when are we going to find the problem? When are we going to find the fact that there's a structural issue with the house and it's going to cost me thousands to fix? But I mean, we stripped every wall back in that house, and I mean, she was a hardwood frame, and I tell you, it was brilliant.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so ugly duckling, but structurally sound is essentially what you're getting at. When it came to, I can actually remember our conversation from when we were at the what's that brewery in Brisbane?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but yes.
I remember. Obviously, it was a Redmayne student meetup, and I remember having this conversation with it. So it's all coming back to me, this one. But you didn't use a money partner for this one. You've used money partners on the deals after that. Is that right?
Correct, mate. Yeah. So I'm
How
not
did
sure
you
if we
finance
touched.
this one?
That one was equity and a little bit of cash as well, I believe. And then we self-funded the renovation on it. So I'm just taking myself back. Yeah, we did. Yeah. So that helped us a little bit as well with the profit, obviously not needing to pay the high interest rate. But yeah, it was just our first one. So we sort of thought, look, it's quite a small.
Okay, so you borrowed against your mortgage or something like that. Is that what you're saying, to get a
Pretty
loan?
much.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So you've used equity in your home loan to be able to buy it. So you've got a loan with a bank, and then you've had some cash that you could fund the renovation.
Correct. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Cool. All right. So let me just walk me through the photos here. So this is obviously kitchen in the middle, and this is obviously the living area. I remember the thing that absolutely spun me out about this house was how good your floors come up. I've never seen these floors ever, but they look great.
It spun me out as well. It was a cypress pine, I think. And I think I remember watching a lot of yours. And are they Jarrah hardwood? Is that what?
A lot of Jarrah. The older houses over here in WA, a lot more Jarrah. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, well, it was good, mate. The pictures on the left there, we actually pulled that lino up. And there was actually the hardwood floors under. No, sorry, they were. Sorry, it was on the tip of my tongue what they're called. Pines. Cypress pine, I think they were.
Okay.
Yeah, so the floorboards were actually under that, so they'd covered them up because yeah, apparently back then they were over the floorboard look, so they covered them up.
Yeah,
Um,
well, it's the same with the Jarrah. It's crazy. Like you go through the some of these old houses from the late 50s and early 60s, and they've got green grandma carpet on like perfectly good Jarrah, and the Jarrah
yeah,
is 60, 70 years old, and it comes up like it's new. Okay, so we
absolutely.
obviously fair bit of asbestos in this home, I can see.
Yeah, mate, probably 80% of the internals were not the ceiling, but the walls and the external of the house was as well.
Did you resheet the whole house?
I'll resheet three-quarters of it, and if I had my time again, which I may soon, we would rip the whole lot. I had the guy back three times, and
Yep,
just held my head in my hand at the end and went, "We've literally paid more to have him back three times to tear it out." And that was just being new to the space thing,
yep,
going, I can save 5 grand by not. By taking half of it out, talking to the electrician, talking to the plumber, going, what do you need out? But mate, people always need more out.
yep,
Understandably, they don't want to touch it. We don't want them to touch it. And it's just a case of, mate, I can't do this till we get this out. So then, you wait a bit, you call the guy back, he pulls it out, can't go in the house for, 12 hours, whatever it was. Massive learning for us. Rip
yep,
it. Get
yep.
rid of it. One hit, goodbye.
Yeah, it's the same as with skip ins. Like you get to close to the end of the reno, and you're like, oh, I don't need a 10 cube skip. I reckon I can get away with a 4, and then you end up having to get another bloody skip in because and it's just like I should have just paid the extra $200 and had the big skip in from the in the first place. But yeah, that's just the part of renovating, I suppose. You sort of learn along the way that you may as well just get it done properly the first time instead of trying
Absolutely.
to limit how many skip bins or how sometimes obviously with asbestos if you're not interfering with it you can obviously leave it, but
Yep.
when if the whole wall, yeah, if the like in WA quite often it's just the wet areas that are the internals are asbestos, but so you're
Yeah.
saying over here a lot of these like the bedrooms and that were asbestos as well, were they?
Yep, the two in that the one on the left is one of the rooms, the other one's the laundry there. They were, so that was, yeah, probably three-quarters ripped out in the end because some of the
Yep.
boards were cracked and stuff, and you can't go repairing them and sanding them, all that sort of jazz. So you
No.
just pull them, So
Yep.
yeah, we had most of that stuff pulled out.
And obviously,
Yeah,
you need the licensed asbestos removal guy to do it all. So that's why you're saying it's
absolutely.
costly if he's got to come back 3 times.
It is costly, mate. Yeah, they hold a couple of different licenses here, so we had to get, yeah, obviously the person with the appropriate license in, and yeah, I think I saw him three times, and you just by the third time, you're just like, okay, jokes on us. We've learnt, get it done. Next time, I know what I'll be doing.
Yeah, for sure. All right, mate. Let's have a look at these after photos. They look absolutely wicked. That floor just looks $1 million once it's been done up. But just walk us through this obviously the kitchen and a living area, is it?
It is, mate. So the picture on the left is the picture in the previous slide. So, yeah, I don't know if you want to flick back to show the comparison, if that's easy. If it's not, I can just talk it through. Sorry, mate. One more previous to the left. Oh,
Yep.
one more. Oh, one more. I've led you straight. Yep,
This
that
one.
run on the right. Yep.
Okay.
So it's
So
that
that one on the
exact.
right is this one here in the middle.
On the left. Yep. So we changed
The
that
left.
from a room to the lounge room. No structural change. Just we just thought it worked a little easier. Sort of
What did you
walk
do?
into
Sorry.
the. At first, it was actually a room, and then we changed it to a lounge room here.
Okay.
So yeah, no, there was no structural change, but yeah, sort of here. Yep. And then the
Yep.
kitchen is obviously the other one there. We lifted the wall, so I don't know if you remember a couple of slides back, there was like a lower wall.
Let's have a look.
So we had a contractor, that one right there. Oh, just one more to the right. Yep, that one there, where that little stove top is. See how low that is?
Yeah, gotcha.
Actually, yeah. So I had a licensed, had a licensed contractor come in, put an LVL in the wall, so we got a little bit extra height, so it sort of became a usable space. You can see it's there; it's still a little bit sort of lower than the rest of it, but it
Yep.
just sort of turned into like a usable space, really.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah,
All right. Master bedroom and the bathroom. Was this a 3 bedroom, 1 bathroom?
correct. Yep,
Yeah, okay, cool. So master
yep.
bedroom and bathrooms come up Mickey Mouse. That's good.
Yeah, came up really well. Hey, yeah. So we kept the layout the same as it was. There was no changes there. Just yeah, jazzed it up a bit, cleaned it up, which was
Out with
good.
the old, in with the new.
Pretty much, mate. Yeah, everything in the same spot though. Like we don't like to move things around because yeah, we sort of need different people and qualifications and all that kind of thing. So yep, kept it all in the exact same place that it was, which was good.
Yep. Yeah, nice. I mean, so yeah, bathroom there. So talk us through. Obviously, I mean that's obviously not an expensive bathroom vanity. What would a vanity like that cost?
Oh, about 500, I reckon. We look for them on special too, like, because we know at some point we'll sort of require them. So we
Yep.
try and, yeah, I think we probably paid 500, probably less, to be honest, for it.
Yep. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're, and then same with the toilet, and then obviously bathtub, shower screen, and then tiles look great as well.
Yeah, mate, the tiles are on clearance. I tell you, I've used, you'll see it from the other ones, but I've used those tiles in three other flips.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so we have reused because yeah, we just I mean they well I think they were on clearance. So like I bought I don't know probably I think it was like a quarter of a pallet of them or something, thinking oh
Yep.
we'll use them, and I reckon I've still got a couple here, sort of
Yeah.
waiting for
Okay.
the next one. So yeah, we can pick them up so cheap, so it just works
Yeah,
well.
perfect. And obviously, when it comes to bedrooms and living rooms, there's nothing much to do except obviously paint the walls and polish up the old floorboards. And as you can see, anyone that's watching, the floorboards have come up. Yeah, brilliant, brilliant.
It's crazy. Hey, it's and mate,
Yep,
he showed me a picture of what they would look like when he came in, and I had your ones in my head because I'd seen you polish them up so many times, and I'm looking at
yep,
this picture going, and I said, mate, I don't like the orange, and he said, mate, you got no choice unless you're relaying floor. That's what you're getting, and I was like, all
yeah,
right, but look, everyone came in and said they loved it. In time, I grew to. I was like, I love this, but when I first saw it, I think I just walked in and just kind of stood there. It was just such a surprise on, the color it came up with. But yeah.
yeah. Awesome. All right. So there's obviously before we jump into the numbers, there's your external front and back. So the
Yep.
house was asbestos on the outside, yeah, as well. So yeah,
Yeah, we left it. We
yep,
only pulled the cracked boards off. And to be honest, I'd probably do that again. It
yep,
didn't interfere with us at the outside. Electricians had one issue getting through, I think, but with my person coming back three times, it wasn't hard to put a black stamp on it for him to
yep,
pull off that one bit we needed off. But other than that, there was no real problems. I think we had about four cracked ones around the entire house. So
yep.
yeah,
And I suppose when it comes to asbestos as well, as long as it's common in the area and when you're doing your feasibility, as long as you're doing, you're doing an apples for apples comparison and you're not comparing, say, asbestos to maybe like there's obviously a weatherboard house next door,
yeah,
there's a little brick cottage. As long as you're doing your comparisons to, okay, if it's common in the area, then they're selling, then it's not an issue. But if it's maybe an outlier and you can't really compare apples for apples, then that's when it might be a little bit more risky. But all right, so numbers wise, so you purchased this one for 410. You did a renovation of 97,000. Other costs 44,000. So that's obviously includes your stamp duty on your purchase, your holding costs, and also your selling costs, so agent fees.
would do. Yeah,
Yep. And then your sell price 626,500, and you walked away with a 72,500 profit on your first flip.
yeah, yeah. Worked out really well.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. I think we
We
could have trimmed that like we spent almost 100. If I had that house again, knowing what I know now, like we could trim it right down
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
honest.
I mean,
Yeah.
and that's just natural, right? So, well, how much would that renovation cost you now? If it cost you 97, then
I reckon I could save best part of 20 on it
yeah,
now.
yeah,
I
100%. Yeah,
really do.
and that comes with experience, right? Because you learn from every flip that you do, right? So, okay, cool. And were you expecting that sale price of 626?
Yeah, it was about it. I think I was on one of the coaching calls, actually talking to one of the coaches at the time, and I think I said to her we were hoping somewhere between 620 and 630 for it. So I think we were right in there at,
Yep.
around 626. So yeah.
And did you stick
Yeah.
to your reno budget, or did you blow it a bit?
We blew it by 7. I think we were about 90. We thought 90 was generous. So yeah, but we had it in there anyway. And I honestly, off the top of my head, couldn't even tell you what it was. Probably the asbestos would have been a fair chunk of it. Like we probably had, allowed some to be pulled out, but I think I paid 15 grand in the end. So it was
Yeah, okay.
probably an extra 10 just in that, to be fair.
Yeah, gotcha.
Um,
All
yeah.
right. Awesome, mate. Well, let's have a look at flip number two.
Yep.
All right. So same sort of area. Obviously, are they all four have been in Logan, in
Logan, mate.
Brisbane?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. One's right on the edge, but yes.
Okay, cool. All right. So before photo. So the first one you got through an agent. How did we get this second one?
This one was through an auction. I
Auction.
was literally, yep, we were driving there. Sorry, I was driving there. I seem to buy all these houses when I'm not with my wife. I'm not sure why that works out, but her and I do not buy houses. I don't know why. I always seem to ring her and be like, hey. So yeah, I literally woke up and I said, hey, I didn't tell you there's an auction on. I think I might pop in. She was like, yep, yep, yep. And we were talking on the way there, on the way up, and we were sort of working out
Yep.
what we could pay for it. And it worked out well. What of do you have what my price was? Was it about
Hang on.
620?
Let me
Was it? I think maybe
let
it was about.
me
No, that's all. I think it was about 620. I think or maybe 610 or something we paid in the end for it. I think. But we were
hang on. I'll
hoping.
tell you exactly what you paid for it.
Yep,
I
no,
know
that's
this
right,
one.
mate.
Well, actually, I don't want to get to the numbers yet. I don't want to get to
Okay,
numbers. We'll come back
sure.
to it. We'll come back to it.
Yeah, I
Because
think
I
we.
know with this one you didn't achieve the sale. You didn't achieve the profit you wanted, did you?
No, we didn't. Look, it wasn't bad. I think we did about 38K profit in the end. So look, it could be worse. Could have been could have worked out worse than it was. But it
Yep.
was just. I think we were looking for a property where there wasn't one that weekend. I think, we just, yeah, like I'll sort of work through it. We are driving there. We went through what we could pay. We probably overestimated the end price maybe by about 15K, I think, in the
Yep.
end. And I just looked at it and went, this is a massive block. It's a subdividable block. We could put a granny flat on it. And you just sort of go in your head, you go, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. We went, there's probably 35, 40K profit in it. I thought if we get approval for a granny flat, there's our extra 10 or 15. If we look at subdividing it, and it was just that thing of, I'll find the extra 20 to make this into a really
Yeah.
profitable flip. We
Okay.
we didn't. We
Yep.
shouldn't have worked it on that. That was learning for us. That was a big, big learning for us. I mean, it worked well. It was sort of still profitable. It was nice and quick, but the end
Yep.
price just wasn't quite there on where we would have liked it to be.
And it's funny that you what you're mentioning because of so many people do this and property flippers do it where the deal doesn't stack up, but they think, oh, I can make this one work. Like I can, like you said, you know what? My printer's just started being having a spaz. I'm just going to turn my printer off 2 seconds.
Yep, not a worry.
Sorry, it's just making massive noises at me. So I just went unplugged it. Yeah,
Yeah,
I always say it's because people get emotional, right? They get emotional as in like they want the property more, and then so therefore they pay too much for it. And then
yep,
same with the renovation. That a lot of time flippers come undone because then they think they're renovating their dream home and they overspend on the renovation, thinking that they're going to get a higher price, and so but anyway, it's like you said, 38,000 was still a profit, so it was deal number two. Let's walk through the photos. So this was obviously bathroom was sort of smashed up. What was this room
yep.
on the right hand side?
That was laundry. So that was the laundry leading into the kitchen. So there was a
Yep,
wall there. See, we took that out. Not a structural wall of any kind, just there for looks. So our chibbies took it out to
yep,
open it up. We really did have to pull out all stops with this one. Like we started to know pretty quick that we were going to have to bring the A game kind of thing, open it up, do that open floor plan to really try and get back what we wanted from it.
yep,
But as you can see there in the picture on the right hand side, huge shed and carport.
yep,
So we went with the area and put two 40-volt power down to the end there because it was just
yep.
that kind of area where, and I don't mean this the wrong way, but, there's just a lot
Tradies
of
and stuff.
people, yeah, working on cars and stuff, people doing it for jobs and hobbies and stuff like that. And, the house, one street over, had 5 or 6 cars there and they're running different car things out of it and stuff like that. So you could sort of, in our thought, we thought, look, a person's going to purchase it, probably gonna have a couple of cars down there working on it at night. So we
Yep.
sort of, trying to appeal to that because it
The
didn't
buyer.
have the
Yep.
240-volt power down there. So we had the excavator in anyway. So had our Sparkies there, and they said, "Yep, it's not overly expensive, to get power down there." So we ended up putting power in. Picture in the middle, you can see that wall I was talking about. So that used to be totally closed off. So we just sort of opened that up a bit. It was a
Yep.
pretty bad laundry sort of prior to that. So yeah, we just sort of wanted to create a little bit more space. Um,
Yep.
I think worked
Cool.
well. And we,
Hey, just a quick one. Just you mentioned before about your wife, and obviously, she's an accountant, but obviously she's not working because you've got the little ones. Is that the case? Yeah, okay.
correct, mate.
Um,
Yep.
so, like, have you guys always been on the same page, and she sort of backed you to do this, or like, what was it? How did that sort of come about?
We
Like,
have, mate. Yeah, we just sort of work well, I think, in that realm. Like I said, we've always been interested in the property thing. It's something that's always worked for us. Like I've jumped into the crypto and all that kind of stuff, and she raised an eyebrow at me. What are you doing? Like, you know what I mean? But the property thing, I think we've always sort of been on the same page. Like I said, it's worked before, so I think when you're sort of looking for something, you sort of gravitate toward what's worked for you
yeah,
prior and take those learnings kind of thing. So, and I mean, we were together since I think we were, gonna say 19-ish, I think. So
yeah.
we got our
All
first
right.
house around 21. So yeah, it just sort of always worked for us. So I think that's why we sort of gravitated to it.
Yeah. Hey, just on that, how is the crypto working out for you? Bitcoin's just picked back up again after there was a dip there for a couple of months.
Mate, I had
How's
a
it?
lot of crypto for a while and I sold it all, went into like some short-term trading and loved it and things like that. It was sort of before the property thing. So I don't have a
Okay.
lot of it now, which is a little bit of
Okay.
a shame seeing it finally moved.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. So these are the after photos, mate.
They are, mate. Yeah, yeah. This one came up really well, and like I said, we really did put the extra mile into this one where we could because we knew we needed to. We knew the numbers weren't just gonna pop out and work for us. So yeah, that was the kitchen. Oh, sorry, the one on the left hand side there. That was the
Yep.
kitchen, and the laundry sort of is on the right of
Okay.
that. So it sort of made
Okay.
it out to be one big kitchen area, which I know might put off some for that area though. It was quite common, so we sort of knew we could combine the two and it worked well. And when you stand on the left hand side, it just looked huge. So we had some floor to ceiling cupboards in there as well, which I think were really good because you could use them for laundry, you could use them for sort of kitchen, like whatever you wanted to. And a lot of these houses they don't have them, so I think that sort of
Yep.
worked out pretty well as well.
Yeah. Awesome. And then obviously living area. So this one obviously didn't have the hardwood floor. So you put in a hybrid or something here.
Yeah, mate, that's I think it's an SBC hybrid, I think they call it. So,
Yep.
yep, got that put in. Yeah, that worked out really well. It's just a really cost-effective way. So I don't know if everyone's crossed those, but we went with the waterproof one. There's the cheaper sort of water-resistant ones out there, but we went with sort of the waterproof one. I've heard that sort of they'll
Yeah.
last a little bit longer. Because we had it in the kitchen sort of space as well, so you don't want them to start having
And obviously,
problems.
obviously, you get all the properties staged at the end to maximise the sale price, get that
We
emotional
do.
buyer.
We do, mate. Yeah, helps with the space, especially when it's small. They sort of do a really good job of, sort of helping people understand how it'll actually work for them rather than walking in and going,
100%.
oh, this room's too small, kind
Yeah,
of
one hundred
thing.
percent.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, backyard's obviously quite big. So um, yeah, so all right. So here's the numbers. So you paid 650 for it. You did a renovation 58. Okay, so your renovation was considerably less than the first one. Why was that?
It just didn't need as much work. It just wasn't there. And I think that's all where we went wrong as well, is that home you probably could have put tenants into it straight away. It would have been, I mean, it would have been probably your lower rent but that's sort of how I work around in my head now. It's, sort of generally I need a property that you can't rent
Living,
out
not
tomorrow.
it's not unlivable yet.
Generally, I mean, look, this worked for us. There's a profit there. It came up well, but you
Yep.
wouldn't rush into it for 12 weeks. I guess when you put it like that, it sounds okay, but I mean, there's plenty that could have gone wrong and eaten into that profit. So,
Yep.
yeah, I wouldn't rush back in for that kind of profit.
So you obviously you sold it for seven. Yeah, obviously 18K was obviously what was the holding cost here for then? So your selling costs and just your stamp duty.
Yeah, I was trying to think about that. It would have been the stamp, sales costs, agent costs as well. Yeah, actually, I can't actually speak accurately to that, mate, as to what I've done there.
Yeah, the holding cost there looks a little bit low, unless
It
you've given me the numbers
does.
wrong on that one.
I think I might have, to be honest. I know for a fact it was the 38K profit though. I know we're 100% on that. I know the sell price is right. So yeah, we might have been a little bit more in the holding costs, but we did profit on that one just under the 40K. And I can
Yeah,
say that
okay.
with
That's
absolute
all right, mate. I'll
certainty.
believe
Yeah.
you. All right, cool. All right, so okay, so 30. So obviously there was some lessons on this one though.
Yep.
So with this one, the lessons were just not to buy a property that where the numbers are tight. Have you got a minimum profit margin now when it comes to, because obviously in the course I talk about not buying anything with less than a 10% return on it. So that one
Yep.
had a less than a 10%, and you still were sort of happy with it, but you sort of learned your lesson now.
We learnt it. Yeah, yeah, we learnt it.
Yeah,
Unless I could get in and out of that in four weeks, there's no way we'd buy it, which is not, yeah, it's just not something that'd work. But yeah, yeah,
yeah,
we sort of going for about the 55K. And the next two you'll see are a lot higher. But I think I had an
yeah.
opportunity to present yesterday and it was at 55. And my wife and I were just chatting, we were umming and ahhing, and we were just looking at the risk of it, going, it really isn't a risky property. It's almost a
Yeah,
certainty, that kind of profit. So we went, we'll probably put an offer in based on that kind of thing. If it was like any risk in it, I probably
you
wouldn't be
wouldn't do it.
taking it on that kind of profit, no.
Yeah, okay. All right. So flip three. I know with this one you made a profit of what, 125K or something on this one. But let's just quickly walk through this one. So this property, was this sort of the current condition when you bought it? Obviously, what was this already gutted, or you've gutted this here?
We'd taken it out, but I tell you, it wasn't far off that. You couldn't have moved into that house. That was a squatter house, so it actually had squatters in it. Not when we purchased it, but when I went to view it, the
Yep,
squatters had just been moved on previously, sort of the week prior.
yep,
So it had some real problems. From what I'd heard from the people that lived around there,
yep.
it had some real
Okay.
issues with squatters and parties and all that kind of jazz.
Yeah, cool. All right, sweet. All right, so here's some more before photos. So you've started, so in this picture on the left-hand side here and on the right, you've obviously already started renovation works here. This one in
Yeah,
the middle, I'm guessing, was this one in the middle, was this before you started reno works, or was this you just what's going on in the middle photo?
pretty much as we walked in, mate. That path was about the only thing you could walk up. The rest of it was overgrown, had junk and all that kind of stuff. And I think other people had thrown their crap in it too. I don't think it was just from that house. I think a few
Yeah,
people had
okay.
sort of seen that didn't need a
Yeah.
tip run. They just drop it on that board. So that was good.
All right. All right. And so the bedroom on the left here, did it just have a concrete floor, did it, or you've ripped the carpet out of here?
No, that just had a concrete floor. I think they had a bit of a water issue at the time there because our guys had to rip some of the gyprock off just to make sure that we didn't have any rot issues or mold problems. Um, yeah, so that had concrete floor. That was the ensuite seeing in the middle there,
And that's
which
as it was?
as it was, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
perfect.
that's the sort of house I'm saying before. That's the kind of house, for our Australia to work. That's what we need to
Yeah.
be buying.
And I agree. Like if I look at all the houses I've done, I've done nearly 30 deals, and probably three, maybe four have been livable as when I purchased them.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so these are the after photos. So it's come up a treat again. It's all nice and new. Same sort of kitchen in all of them. So yeah, it looks great. So same as before. Bathroom looks almost a mirror image from the other one that you've done.
Exactly. So, mate, if we could see the tiles, you could see the exact same tiles as well.
Same floor tiles, and the vanities looks like the same vanity, just a bit bigger, and same
I think,
bathroom and same. This is like I always talk about it, and I talk about in the course having like a cookie cutter design where you can just keep replicating the same thing. This one obviously had a big pool as well. What condition was the pool when you bought it?
oh, it wasn't good. You wouldn't have gone for a swim, put it like that. It was bad, mate. I had to go through the lawyers to get access to get pool cleaned before we moved in because I went, the longer I leave this, they are not going to come back and fix it. So luckily
Yeah,
enough, they turned around and said yes, and I could actually get the pool guys in to start, you know, trying to resolve it.
yeah, awesome. All right, so after your 38K profit, you bounced back with this one. So you purchased it for 548. Another 98K profit. So sorry, 98K renovation. Holding cost 49. That this one looks more realistic. So
Yep.
obviously that's your stamp duty and your agent fees. And you had a money partner on this one?
Had a money partner as well, mate, on this one. Yeah, only for 50%, 45% of it, I think we had, which was the first time we'd gone into that. So that for us, that worked out kind of really well.
This is your first deal with a money partner?
Yep.
Okay, so deal three, you decided you'd use a money partner. So you sold
Yep.
it for 825. You walked away with 128K profit on this one. How did that feel? Obviously, you've previous, deal one, 76, deal two, 38. How did this one feel with a 128K profit?
Mate, it felt really good. This one felt good. We wanted to crack the 100. It was a real aim of mine. Like I saw, like you always or often crack the 100. And yeah, we were just sort of, I don't know, put that in our head and went, we want to crack that. Like we want to try and work it out. We didn't actually think this would be the house for it. We actually projected we'd be a little bit under that. We knew it'd be good, but we didn't know it'd be that good. So yeah, it sort of worked out really well.
Yeah, awesome. And so just talk us through the whole money partner experience. Obviously, during the program, you'd probably never even heard of money partners, I mean, like everyone else. I know I hadn't heard of it before I got into the space. How was your experience, using money partners? And talk to us about that. Did you get the money partner through the Facebook group?
No, mate. I actually got it from a brother-in-law, Ryan. Again, it was sort of someone he knew, so it actually worked out really well. We were talking to her for a while, and I was
Yep.
just like, "Look, if we find one, and I just wanted to obviously make sure we found a really healthy one too, because you're still kind of new to the space and kind of thing. And yeah, it sort of worked out really well. We just spoke with her. Well, like I said, we were able to put half in. So it was sort of really nice and easy and clean for her. I
Yep.
used I'm going to say accountant, that's something
Solicitor,
like yes, yes, yes. So he got it all through, which was great because that was very new to us.
the
And I
loan agreement
used,
and everything like that, the security.
yeah, he was great. He taught me through it, worked it all through. So it actually worked out pretty well in the end with that. And yeah, so I've used this lady once now, and hopefully we'll have another one on the table the next week or so.
Yep.
And yeah, I've been chatting to her about using her for this one. So yeah, hopefully round two with her coming up very shortly.
Yeah, awesome. So good relationship, which will be ongoing.
It will, yeah. Look, it sort of worked really well for her. I mean, at the end, I called her up and I said, look, everything's good with the property. You're getting paid back. I think she made about 26 grand, I think it was, for 12 and a half weeks,
Yep.
so it worked out really well. And yeah, she turned around and said, this is great. And I went, well, this is great because obviously we didn't pay for it. So yeah, it just worked out
Yep.
well.
And so just to clarify, the 128K profit is after paying the money partner their 26K.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, cool. Very good. All right, awesome. So flip number four. So this is the one that's on the, it's just about, this is the one I'm going to come see in about 10, 11 days time in Brisbane. Yeah.
Yep. I reckon you'll see the very end of it, mate. It's on the home stretch at the moment. So
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. All right. So so this one here, this is obviously not the before photos. These are some during photos.
these are some during photos. Yeah, so this house had a rat problem in it. It had apparently a copious amounts of rats, which sort of convinced the owner to palm it off really cheap and quickly. She didn't. Yeah, she was moving to I think it was like an aged care home, and yeah, she just wanted cash, quick and clean terms. So yeah, sort of worked out well for us with that as
Yeah,
well.
awesome. All right, so obviously you can see from the before afters that it's the fence looks like it's absolutely buggered. Looks like it needs a new fence.
Yes, it
Um,
did. It has a new one now, which is good.
There's a new one. Okay, cool. All right. So some more before, during. So you're obviously putting up a wall here, are you, on the right hand side,
Yeah,
stud
mate. So
wall?
we've got a company in to close in that. So it's just like a change of purpose with the council to get approval to be able to close that in. They had approval when we bought it to have an ensuite in it. We've chosen not to do that. The approval's still active, so the next person can do that if they want, turn the laundry into that. But we just wanted something a little bit quicker and easier to get across the line. So it'll just be an extra room, whether they choose to use it as a lounge room or whatever.
Beautiful. All right.
Well, that was
Um,
actually before picture there, mate, on the,
on the right
yeah,
hand side.
right. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So yeah. So is that just a concrete slab? Is it, or what is
It
that?
was, yeah, it was concrete state because of the rat issue. And I think there was a bit of water. The plumber actually found that the waste from the shower had been chewed away by rats. So I
Yeah.
think she was having a shower and the water's just sort of come out and things like
Yeah,
that.
right.
So
And
yeah,
you can see, okay, so same thing on the left hand side here. Yeah. So I mean,
yeah.
it's funny. Like a lot of people are like, how can you buy house is cheap enough to renovate and flip them. But the thing is, most people are looking on realestate.com to find houses, but most
Yep.
of these houses don't make it on realestate.com. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So
Yep.
a lot of the time you're buying them off market or through agents, pre-market, that sort of stuff. So
Yep.
loads of houses in this sort of condition that need a renovator to come along and give it another, lease of life sort of thing. So this is a projected numbers. So when will we on market for this one? On market in the next couple of weeks, basically.
Yeah, we'll be on market. Yeah, probably. I think I've got a book staging for about 3 weeks, so probably shortly after that, I'd say. So
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So
yeah,
you purchased it for 502. Again, another property in Logan. Renovation budget 84K. Projected holding costs. So what are your holding costs on this one?
yeah, they seem a bit low again. I think we've done something with the purchase price because the purchase price is actually 480. So I think we've actually included stamp maybe in the purchase costs
Okay.
instead of the holding costs. I think that's what we've done because I know the purchase price was 480 on this
Okay.
one.
All
But
right.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So the purchase price is 480, and your
yeah,
holding costs are actually 21,000 plus 22. So your
yeah.
purchase costs are more like 43,000.
That's exactly right. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
That's
cool.
what's
So just
happened
for
there.
anyone listening, if you're just a bit confused there, when he's done the numbers, he's sent through the purchase costs as the purchase price and the stamp duty and the settlement, which is so he's actually purchased for 480, but then with the stamp duty and so on, it's 502. So the holding cost here, the 21,000, is actually just your holding costs.
Yep,
And
exactly.
and probably, yeah, okay, gotcha. So did you use a money partner on this one? No.
No,
Okay.
that's why they're low.
So that's why it's low. Okay, so you've had
Yeah,
basically agent fees here and probably all of what, 4 or 5K, five
yeah,
K holding costs with interest for the bank or whatever.
exactly right. Yep, yep. It's a
Yeah,
very
okay.
low one. Yeah.
All right, gotcha. Okay, cool. That makes sense. So you're aiming for a 700K sale price, and are you pretty obviously confident in that sale price?
Yeah, I'm really confident in that. We should go north of that. I was actually talking to the agent this morning about it. We should go a little bit north. I reckon about 715, 710, 715. It's my
Okay,
thought.
cool.
Yeah,
So on a
yeah,
700K sale price, we're looking at about a 91,000 profit, but you reckon
yeah.
it could crack the 100 by the sounds of it?
We could. I reckon we're a chance at it. We don't have a carport in there, and we got a small bathroom. They're sort of our two Achilles heels that, at this start, I should have looked at the carport, but I need the council approval to put it up, so I'm too late to put it up. So they're probably the two that may bring us down a bit, but I've got a funny feeling we could get closer to the 100 on
Yeah,
this.
okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic, mate. Very, very good. Fantastic. All right, so I'm just going to stop share screen. I know there is a bunch of questions. So obviously now as well, just for clarification, we obviously know why your, I think was it flip two or whatever the reason the holding costs look low is because you did the same thing. You had the purchase price and the stamp duty as the
And
purchase,
that,
but
Yeah, because I know the purchase price on that was about 620 or 624. So it does make when I saw 650, I'm going, gee, that's a bit higher than I thought. So and that's the way my wife and I talk about it is that's how we sort of work out what we're in the property for. So I can see why I put that there because we sort of, go, yeah,
yeah,
it
okay.
costs us this. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. No, it makes sense. So purchase costs are you've just put the stamp duty as purchase cost instead of as holding cost, which is
Yeah.
it really is a purchase cost, I suppose. I just do it a little bit differently, but that's fine.
Yep, sure.
All righty, so a few questions here, guys. Again, if you've got any questions or if you're wanting to book a call with my team, I'm just going to get us to drop the link again in the chat. But just going to jump in. So let's have a look at some questions. What have we got here? I saw some questions about money partners. So do you want to just give us, Ben, how about you give us your version as to what money partners are and how they work?
Yeah, sure. So they're people for us, they were sort of a friend of our family who had what she had about 400 in cash. So we paid her 15% to lend us the cash to purchase half the house. She had the property as security. And yeah, look, I think that probably is about it. That's sort of how
Yeah.
it worked.
So money partners are just essentially peer-to-peer lending. You can lend through your self-managed super fund or your company or your personal name. A solicitor draws up a loan agreement, so it's all above board, security's in place, and yeah, you sign a contract, and Yeah, so that's essentially what it is. Um, Question here regarding how long does it take to renovate these houses? I remember your first one obviously took the longest, took about 4 months. But what about deals 2, 3, and 4? How long have the renovations been taking you?
Two, we flew through it. We are just under 12 weeks because we knew we really needed to move it.
Yeah,
Three was over Christmas, so we had 3 weeks off because we were absolutely rooted. Other than that,
yeah,
it would have taken 12 weeks. So it was pretty much 12 weeks of working plus the three. We
yeah,
had a cyclone up here in Brizzy. I don't know if anyone recalls that. So
yeah,
that
yeah. It's not like
right on the first weekend, man, I could not believe it. The for sale sign went up and came down 24 hours later because the weather was coming. So generally about a 12, if we're in and out in 12 weeks, that is great for us.
perfect. Perfect. Someone's asking about, do you guys have anyone, like any interior designers, ask you any questions or give you any hand, or do you just do it yourself?
No, my wife's pretty good at it. My chippy is incredible. He sort of comes up with ideas to move like non-structural walls and stuff like that. So he's incredible as well. So sort of between the three of us, we generally come up with it. Only interior designer is the person who does the furniture. She is just that. So she sort of comes in at the end though.
Yeah, got it, got it, got it. Uh, Fair enough. What else have we got? Does the deal work? And what? Don't really know what the question is. What percentage have you paid your money partner?
It was 15% of what she lent us. So just the going rate, I believe, what you do as well, and seems to be what most others
15%.
seem to do.
Yeah, 15% return on investment per annum is what I pay, and it's pretty standard. But in saying that, like, there's no set in stone what it comes to. Like some people, I've heard of people paying 12%. I've heard of people paying 20%. It's really whatever a borrower and a lender agree upon. Do you use a builder for any of the works?
Yes, we do anything structural or bathroom related. We resurface some of our bathrooms, so we don't actually touch any of it. We don't have to take anything out, but if we need to redo them, yes, we do. The first property, we had to put the big LVL in to lift the roof up. We did that as well. So he got all that signed off how it needed to. So yes and no. Obviously, there's just a lot of cost when you do have them in. So we really need to work them in prior.
So essentially you use the builder for the stuff that you need to, and correct, yeah. The cosmetic stuff, obviously, you're not. Is that the case?
That is the
Yep.
case. Yep.
Um, how much are you typically paying for your staging?
Uh, Varied between 3.5 and three. I think I paid three on the last one, which I thought was pretty good. The first one, I think we were about 3.5. So yeah.
Yeah, awesome. No problems at all. So someone asking here, how much do you do yourself in a 12-week reno? Like, are you doing any of the trade? Because you're not a tradie or anything like that, are you? So
No, no, I'm not a tradie. Like I'm pretty handy. I can jump in if I need to. I labour to our chippy. Sometimes depends if he's flat out. Like he's got a team, he'll come in. If he's flat out and he's like, mate, I'll get there on the weekend. Sometimes I'll say, mate, I'll come up and give you a hand. Um,
but
but
you're not a
yeah, not generally. I might do a little bit of skirting, just little stuff like that kind of thing. I'll do a little bit outside, a bit of gardening and stuff like that. But for me, a lot of it's picking up gear, dropping it off, making sure it's there. Like the other day when our chippies were there, I went out 3 times and got them gear because I knew they had an 8 hour window that they could come because they're so
yeah,
flat out. And he's like, mate, this isn't going to work. I need this. So I just kept running out and getting things, and it sort of helps speed, things up. So yeah.
yeah, got it. Obviously your wife's a company, your wife's an accountant, and someone's asking here, have you got a company set up?
We do. Yes, we do.
Okay,
And
so you're buying the properties in a company, yeah?
correct. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Um, Fantastic, man. I think that's most of the questions, and we're coming up about an hour. So, mate, I just want to say thank you and appreciate you coming on and sharing your story. You're obviously kicking butt. So, what is it in total? I think Josh told me it was 310,000 profit, but you've corrected him and said it's more about, if you get the 700, you're expecting about 325K profit so far in your first year? I think you started it April last year. We're
Yeah.
May 2025. So you're sort of, in 1 year or 13 months you've cracked over 300,000. Does that feel real for you?
No, it doesn't actually. It feels good, but no, it certainly doesn't feel real. And it honestly, even as I said at the start, wasn't really even part of the plan. But yeah, we've just, I don't know, just worked really hard for it. And we just keep on trying to, yeah, work harder and find more. And yeah.
Does it feel like it's getting easier though, from because of experience though, like as far as the actual process?
It's getting a yeah, process of doing the properties is getting easier for sure. Like we're getting quicker. You know, all our trades are just incredible people. They work around each other, work with each other. Like it's just
Yeah.
great working with them. I guess for me, it's just sourcing the properties, which really does take a lot of my time, which I'm sure you know you probably have that too. But yeah, that's probably where a lot of my time is yeah, trying to track them down.
Yeah, okay, awesome, mate. Very good, mate. Look, appreciate you coming on. I'm sure everyone that's on the call really appreciates the level of detail that you've gone into in sharing. Mate, well done to you for obviously, having the confidence to go full time and absolutely having a massive crack. Looking forward to catching up with you in Brisbane and a bunch of other students at the meetup that we've got. But I'm also looking forward to coming out and having a look at your latest flip that's about to go to market as well, mate. So thank you very much. Massively appreciate what you've done, and yeah, thank you, mate.
Yep.
We'll
No
catch
problems,
up
mate.
soon.
Thank you very much.
Absolute legend. All right, thanks, Ben. See you, mate.
Thanks again, mate. See ya. Bye.
See you.